Welcome to Aging on the Suncoast. I'm your host, Jason Martino. The Area Agency on Aging of Pasco and Pinellas partners with organizations that serve individuals with disabilities. Without these partners, we could not achieve our shared goal of promoting independence within the community, which allows individuals to live in the least restrictive environment. To assist our viewers understand what types of resources are available to persons with disabilities, we've invited a longtime employee of the Disability Achievement Center. Jody Armstrong, the Director of Outreach, will speak to a variety of resources their organization provides individuals with disabilities. So with that, Jody, it's been a couple of years, I think, since you've been on the show, and we welcome you back. And what a long, strange couple of years it's been for us. So welcome to Aging on the Suncoast.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we start off and just kind of cover the basics and who is the Disability Achievement Center?
Disability Achievement Center is the Center for Independent Living that serves Pinellas and Pasco counties. We are celebrating 30 years this year as a Center for Independent Living. Disability Achievement Center was the former Caring and Sharing for Independent Living, incorporated in 1991 and became a Center for Independent Living in 1992. Centers for Independent Living are federally mandated, and we are funded through the Health and Human Services Department and Florida Department of Education to provide our 5 core services.
Funding. What would it be without all the funding? So smart people have a good idea to fund all the right things, and you're a part of that too.
Yeah.
So in our in the traditional aging world, the Area Agency on Aging serves people that are 60 and older generally. There's some cases where we serve some caregivers that are a little bit younger than 60. Who do you serve?
We are a safety net. As a Center for Independent Living, we serve any age and any disability. So we are the umbrella nonprofit, if you will, of support for persons with any disability. There's a lot of agencies that serve and focus on just certain disabilities, but we're the only one that captures everything.
Nice. Location. Where are you at? Are you just in Pinellas? Are you in all 67 counties of the state?
That would be a little tough.
Yes.
Centers for Independent Living are designed to be local. So we serve Pinellas and Pasco County, and we serve, right now, about 2/3 of the people we serve are seniors.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there other organizations that that help you with serving the population that you serve, or does the DAC do it all?
For Pinellas and Pasco, we're it.
Yeah, right.
And we are into just about anything you can imagine. We are into every facet of life because disability affects every facet of life.
Yeah.
So we are we serve the 2 counties, but Florida's fortunate. We have Centers for Independent Living that blanket all 67 counties. We operate under different corporate names, such as we are the Disability Achievement Center. Hillsborough County would have Self-Reliance. So we're just a great resource to begin. If you don't know where else, if you have nowhere else to start, just like the Area Agency Helpline, and we get a lot of great referrals from you guys, we're a resource. We know where to start. We know what to do. Yeah,
and we kind of a good segue into my next question is that we get a lot of referrals from you as well. And I think it really highlights that neither of our organizations can really do this alone. I've said this on many shows, and I try to highlight all of our partner agencies that are serving individuals with disabilities or seniors in their home. Could you do it alone?
Hell no.
Yeah, what does that look like for you with the collaboration?
Wow, okay, Area Agency was a great one. Like during COVID, everyone was floundering. We didn't know what to do, and everyone was sort of paralyzed. And when the needs start coming up, the first one was a call for incontinence supplies, which Diapers for Dignity was born through the Area Agency on Aging. Gave the program a name, made it robust, and that was the first call. And we recognized the people were isolated, and so we partnered with the Area Agency to get activity kits, to get hygiene kits, and we pumped this out through our sources and put these kits together, and people are very appreciative. Very appreciative.
Yep.
And that's just one example, but another one would be a partnership with the Florida Alliance for Assistive Services and Technologies, FAST. We're all acronyms, but they provide assistive technology. They provide funding for us to make repairs to persons' equipment, and they offer resource centers where you can go and test out different types of products for your mobility impairment, or whatever. If you have an eating impairment, there's utensils, or there's all kinds of new equipment out there.
Yeah.
But these partnerships make us successful. We can't do it alone.
Yeah, and coincidentally, that was some of my background when I was in college. The shameless plug for the University of Florida. I work with there in their Center for Persons with Disabilities, teaching individuals how to use technology to get them through school. So the Area Agency on Aging, obviously we're mission-driven people. The Disability Achievement Center is also mission-driven, and you also have, similar to us, core services.
Correct.
Can you talk a little bit about what your core services are?
Sure. Our 5 core services. The first one is information and referral. Disability Achievement Center as a Center for Independent Living is unique in that it has the majority of our staff and our board of directors must be a person with a disability, so we're users of the system. So if you don't know where to begin, just like your helpline, you've got a place to start, you can call us and say, I just don't know. And we get an awful lot of that because you're one accident or illness away from being a person with a disability. And if you're new to that world, you don't know what's out there or even how to maneuver through it oftentimes. So we know where the system is, we know where the partnerships are, we know who's effective and who's not. So if you make us the first call, just like if they make Area Agency the first call, we're going to get you to the right place.
Yeah. Do you find, and before you go into your other 4, do you find that individuals call you when they're in a crisis situation versus being maybe proactive to understand what is out there that could help them?
Both.
Yeah.
Persons who are new to disability, they're forced into the world.
Yeah.
There was legislation passed last year that all students transitioning out of high school, students with an IEP, will be provided with Center for Independent Living information because we can prevent that cliff drop-off of services from going from school. Now we're able, as a Center for Independent Living, provide you with, I'll go into our next core service, which is independent living skills, that provide you with the tools that you need to live independently. Self-advocacy is one of the strongest first steps you can take to learn your voice, to speak, to learn how to speak up for yourself. So independent living skills is our second core service, and it's anything you can think of that is needed to live by yourself: budgeting, cooking, just life
really
skills.
Cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then our third core service is peer mentoring, because there's tricks of the trade for every disability. And if you compare persons with like disabilities or like experiences, you can learn from each other and grow. And that's a positive step forward to independence as well. Our fourth core service is near and dear to my heart, and that is advocacy. I am a recovered attorney. I don't practice, but I have that advocacy heart in me, and I strongly advocate for issues that are important to people with disabilities, including talking to our legislators, including supporting bills that help people with disabilities, including chairing the Pinellas County Council for Persons with Disabilities, and encouraging municipalities to create their own ADA committees so that they can face their own barriers within their municipalities.
That's big work, especially in Pinellas County, who has 24 distinct municipalities. Good for you.
Yeah, so it's so that's systemic. On an individual basis, we'll help people who are having issues, like we have a new partnership with the Brain and Spinal Cord Injury Program, helping those folks access services that are available to them that they may not know about. So these partnerships, as we talked about at the very beginning, are very critical to us. And then our fifth core service is transition. Transition is just what it means: any type of change, from school to work, from big house to little house, from mom and dad's house to your first apartment, or any type of things like that, that it's hard enough just as you're going through it, but to have the supports and to have that confidence to move forward with your choices is always helpful and encouraging.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think that every human has to transition in some way or another. Some folks just need a little extra support to get them to the next level. One of the things that I forgot to bring up, and maybe we can cover, maybe I'll bring it up before, is that when we were talking about collaborations, we previously had yourself on the show, but also the Agency for Persons with Disabilities, the state agency. Do you still work with them pretty closely to have a multi-approach for different individuals?
We do. They do a very good job because they focus on 7 specific disabilities, developmental disabilities.
Yep, and we can definitely talk about that a little bit
all
later.
day long, yeah. But you've got to think that's only part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So please stay with us while we take a short break. As usual, don't forget to have your pen or pencil ready. We'll be running contact information for the Disability Achievement Center and the Aging and Disability Resource Center helpline during the break and at the end of our show.
James is 70 and a writer whose joint pain has been a story in itself. His doctor prescribed a new medication that may not be affordable, even with James's Medicare Part D plan. James called Shine. Shine volunteer counselors can guide you to money-saving prescription assistance programs, including a program that helps pay Medicare Part D plan costs for limited-income seniors. Shine costs nothing but could save you time and money. More information is available at 1-800-963-5337.
Welcome back to Aging on the Suncoast. During the first half of the show, Jody Armstrong helped us understand who and what the Disability Achievement Center is, and especially their core services. So let's continue our discussion and delve into more resources the Disability Achievement Center offers that would benefit you or someone you know. So Jody, welcome back to the second half of our show. We had a very nice conversation about who and what the Disability Achievement Center is, and then especially the 5 core services that you offer. So I know, because I know you and I've worked with you for a number of years, that 5 core services is not all that you offer. You do so much more out there, and I think we want to take that opportunity to highlight that. And so, so our viewers can take a look at what you offer and make those decisions to give you a call when they need to. So what do you offer in addition to the 5 core services?
I'm glad you asked, because there, as you said, there's more to us than meets the eye. We start off, we have the largest medical equipment recycling program in the state. We have a 2,500 square foot warehouse that's filled with donations of walkers, rollators, wheelchairs, power chairs, all types of shower equipment that can help people stay independent and safe in their homes. We also have, I raise grant funding for our home modification program, that if we don't get something in our warehouse that's needed, we can spend the money and purchase the equipment so the person can remain independent. I'd like to tell a story. This is a recent one from a success story from last year. We had a husband and wife aging. They had one step up into their home, and the husband was a large man, and when he came back from the doctor's appointment one time, he didn't have the energy to make that one step. What made the problem worse was that it was pouring rain at the time, so the only thing his wife could do was run in the house, grab a bunch of tablecloths and put them over him while it poured rain on him, and she had to call 911 for assistance in getting him up that one single stair.
Because she physically couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. She was too small. We were able to provide that family with a ramp, so that situation will never happen again. And that's one of the things that we are known for, is our ramp program, where we have 72 ramps in the field today in Pinellas and Pasco that we loan to people for as long as they need them, so they have access, safe access in and out of their homes.
And home modification, it is not uncommon for our older housing stock in Pinellas and Pasco County to be built a certain way, but not necessarily accommodating as we age and or if we have a disability that's kind of a barrier for us for entry. So I'm glad that people have a place to go to receive some of those things. And then certainly for our viewers, the contact information for the Disability Achievement Center is going to be in the middle of the show and also at the end, and that's how you would contact Jody. What else, Jody?
Right. We're also partners. We're a Diapers for Dignity distribution center. So incontinence supplies, once somebody ages into needing incontinence supplies, they need them for the rest of their lives.
Quite costly too.
And that's why we provide. Yeah. So that's a very big, robust program for us. And again, driven by donations, driven by grant funding. And we also have we serve a large portion of deaf and hard of hearing population. We have a staff member who is deaf. She uses a cochlear implant and provides the services that interpreting documents, everyday things that people who in the deaf community need. So.
Wonderful. You're again doing so much out there. You can't possibly catalog everything that
no, there's so much. There really is.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I like you so much is your tenacity to advocate. So the Area Agency on Aging, particularly myself, work very closely with Pinellas County Emergency Management and Pasco County Emergency Management to advocate, but also for seniors and persons with disabilities, but also to help prepare, just to offer whatever knowledge we share. And we've been around long enough to have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to disasters. You do that too, correct?
We do. We're very active. Emergency response, the Tampa Bay Health and Medical Preparedness Coalition. I serve as vice chair of our ESF8 here in Pinellas, which is one arm of the preparedness and response. We're also part of the VOAD, the Volunteer Organizations Active During Disasters. Pinellas County has done a good job of standing the VOAD up. We're learning the organizations, we're learning each other so that we can be more effective when the emergencies hit. Yeah. We are prepared, and we do the same thing in Pasco. We're just plugged in anywhere we can so that we know, and we help with emergency preparedness. Prepare our folks with disabilities. What are you going to do in an emergency? Where are you going to go? Do you have the basic kits ready? We work very hard year-round to stay in a state of preparedness.
And it is year-round. You're exactly right. And we're talking about those natural disasters.
Yes, correct.
And we're most prone to hurricane. We cover that topic on the show a lot. I invite some very seasoned people that know much more than me and help our public out. Right. One of the things that it's been a disaster, I said it's been a long, strange trip for the last 2 years or so, is COVID-19. And you mentioned, you highlighted a little bit earlier your response to that too. Right. Tell us a little bit more about your response to COVID-19.
What we did when everyone shut down, when the world shut down, what we did, we right away started calling our folks, our consumers, to find out how they were doing and what the needs were, what their thoughts were. And the very first call that that was needed was, number one was incontinence supplies. The second was food. What happened in the very beginning was remember when PSTA cut ridership, and folks who depend on bus transportation to get their food, they would be able to hop the bus, go get their groceries, but when they came out in the heat of the summer, those full buses would pass them by one after another, and we got calls, people crying. They lost all of their perishables waiting for a bus. Yeah. That's when we knew we had to jump in. And so we are a strong partner with Feeding Tampa Bay, and we continue now to serve between 50 and 60 households per month for people who are food insecure, who don't feel comfortable or are unable to go through the normal food bank drive-throughs if they have no transportation, or in lines if they have a disability that precludes them from waiting in line for periods of time. There's a lot of disabilities that you just can't wait. And so this is the population that we serve, the food banks and all these, we support them on this back end to help the vulnerable population that no one else is.
Yeah, and this is not past tense either.
This is current. This is current. This continues.
Yeah, the coast is not clear. We're all erring on the side of caution. We're all doing what we can and working with them. And we're still seeing some reluctance from the persons that we serve to either accept things in their home and or sometimes to get out in the community and enjoy some of the resources that are out there as well.
Yes.
You and I have a history together when it comes to advocating for the people that we serve, and there's a great mix of, we serve the same people, really.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that we advocate is through our participation on the Falls Prevention Coalition in Pinellas County. Pasco County is working on that as well.
Right.
They understand the dangers of falls, and they're wanting to also mitigate that too. Tell us a little bit more about falls prevention and for some
Falls
of the
prevention. We have a very focused group here in Pinellas County, thanks to the efforts of 911 and providing the data of where the falls were happening. That was an eye-opener, I think, for all of us who work with folks who are prone to falls, etc., that we really need to provide the education, to provide the tips, to basically how can you prevent a fall in the first place, because that first fall comes out of nowhere. Everyone is very surprised at their very first fall. How could this possibly have happened to me?
Yeah.
And it happens. And if you don't change your practices and your habits, we know that within 30 days you have a greater risk of falling again. And with each fall, you become weaker. And to stop that, to be cognizant of that, to pick up those loose throw rugs that look so pretty but that are so dangerous, or to add a night light so that when you wake up in the middle of the night, that you have a night light to go through, or wearing no-skid socks. Just real quick, easy things that you can do that you don't think of, that might not be on your radar, that can make a big difference.
Yep, and we offer evidence-based classes in both counties, Pinellas and Pasco.
Right.
Centered around falls prevention, Tai Chi for moving for better balance and for arthritis, and then also matter of balance. We share the wisdom that these instructors provide for our folks to help mitigate that. And you're right, falls will set the course in usually a dangerous way for the rest of their life if you don't intervene in that.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget the other program. I don't want to use acronyms that are coming up, but it's like JPASS, JP?
JPPASS, the James Patrick Memorial Personal Attendant Service Program. It's a phenomenal program. It's funded through when people don't pay their sales tax and the judicial system goes after them, recovered monies are directed towards the JPPASS funding, and that's what pays for the program. And it was started as a pilot in 2002. In 2008 became law that in the state of Florida that we would have this program. Pinellas County is one of the judicial circuits that does support the effort. And there's what it does, it pays for the personal care that you need to be able to maintain competitive employment, integrated employment, so that you are on par with your peers and you can continue to work. I've spoken with a couple of folks who are on the program who love it because they get to choose their own personal care attendant, which can be a family member, and they love the idea of having competitive employment. My disability does not matter in the workplace. I get to work because I'm able to.
You're so right. And again, if they're interested in any of your core services or any of the other resources that you had mentioned, they just call the number and
just call the number. That's how you start and access us in any way. Either the phone call to the main number, leave a message, or an email, and we respond. We'll get back to you usually same day and start rolling in the process of how can we help you. Yep.
And for our viewers out there, if you call our helpline, which is the information is, like I said, in the middle of the show and at the end of the show, you also have another vehicle to get a hold of the Disability Achievement Center that way. We have seasoned staff that know the resources they offer and put you right in touch.
Right.
That is a lot of things that you offer, core-wise, other ancillary services that you do. One big one that you're working on, I want to make sure that we have enough time to talk about that, Moby Mats.
Moby Mats, golly, 1 in 7 people in the United States has a mobility impairment. I don't know about you, but I moved here to Pinellas County for our beautiful beaches. And to think that 1 in 7 can't reach the one thing that we're all here for. So 3 years ago, when the Pinellas County Council for Persons with Disabilities was launched, Treasure Island showed off their brand new Moby mat, their beach access mat.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we've been on a mission to get municipalities in the county to put these down to make Pinellas beaches accessible. And the major roadblock for everyone, actually the only roadblock, was funding. And earlier this year, or earlier, mid last year, 2021, the Forward Foundation stepped up and offered to pay for the Moby mats and for the permitting of those Moby mats for anyone who wanted to put them down. So we are so excited to take we have 4 current mats in the county. The 4 mats are located at Treasure Island, Gulfport, the new St. Pete Pier, and one in Indian Rocks Beach. And we'll ultimately have 24 in Pinellas and 4 in Pasco.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's really getting some traction, and especially up in Pasco as well, who has a little bit of coastline, a little bit smaller than them, but still has people that want to enjoy their
Yeah.
beautiful.
So we've got North Pinellas. We've broken it down into 3 different categories: North Pinellas locations, and that includes Pasco. Then the meat of South Pinellas, what we call, and Clearwater itself. So we've got 3 different locations.
You know, it's always a pleasure having you on this show. You and I talk obviously in the community when we're doing different things on there. But every time that I talk to you, I learn something else about your organization or yourself that is a big piece of your organization and how you're helping people. You've been long involved with the age-friendly community initiative, and Moby mats are just one piece to help people's mobility and access to that kind of stuff. I loved having you on the show, and I look forward to the next time so I can hear all the new and cool things that the Disability Achievement Center is doing.
We do. We try to stay nimble, and I'd like to make a quick plug for our fundraiser.
Very quickly, yes.
On February 26th, it's a Saturday afternoon, 3 to 6 p.m., we're celebrating Decades of Empowerment. Tickets are $20, available online.
Really important. Thank you, Jody, for coming on our show.
You're welcome.
Yep. We hope this month's broadcast was informative. We wouldn't have these resources without great organizations like the Disability Achievement Center. We'll see you next month, and until then, we hope you maximize every resource our community has to offer.
James is 70 and a writer whose joint pain has been a story in itself. His doctor prescribed a new medication that may not be affordable, even with James's Medicare Part D plan. James called Shine. Shine volunteer counselors can guide you to money-saving prescription assistance programs, including a program that helps pay Medicare Part D plan costs for limited-income seniors. Shine costs nothing but could save you time and money. More information is available at 1-800-963-5337. James is 70 and a writer whose joint pain has been a story in itself. His doctor prescribed a new medication that may not be affordable, even with James's Medicare Part D plan. James called Shine. Shine volunteer counselors can guide you to money-saving prescription assistance programs, including a program that helps pay Medicare Part D plan costs for limited-income seniors. Shine costs nothing but could save you time and money. More information is available at 1-800-963-5337.